Let's get ready to rumble! Hey, what's up everybody? So, I'm here joined by my good friend James Hansen, and today we're going to be talking about the Tournament of Power, the updated status on what this new tournament is going to be about, the rules, and how it's going to play out and the setup for it, because based off episode 81, the tournament that we thought we were in store for is actually very different. It's not going to be 1v1s like we thought it was going to be, but it's more so going to be a big Royal Rumble Battle Royale with 80 warriors from 8 different universes. So I'm kind of curious, for starters, James, what was your thoughts when you heard, oh shit, this isn't going to be what we thought it was, it's going to be just one big slugfest with, 80 different people going at it at the same time?
Just complete hype and madness that's going to go on. Like, I'm so excited to see just the big slugfest that's going to happen. So many different characters, so many tag teams, so many different strategies that are going to be implemented into this, because we got people like Goku and Vegeta who are just going to go slam it in head first, and then we got people like Gohan and Piccolo that are just going to use strategy throughout all this. So I wonder how they're really going to incorporate working as a team as Universe 7 and just seeing how this really plays out. What about you, man?
One of the best things I think about this is, for starters, we won't, because there's a lot of things that's going to be going on. Based on episode 81, we know that they're going to be coming for our heads. Universe 7 is a major target for what Goku has done up until this point. People are looking at him as this is all his fault, even though technically the Omni King was going to destroy universes anyway, but maybe their mindset is he would have rethink things and he wouldn't have gone through with it, and they feel as though it's all Goku's fault. So we're already going to be a major target in the tournament, but I do think from a creative standpoint, it's going to be a bit different than what I thought, because for starters, we won't have those things where, for example, if Krillin jumps in a fight, they're going to have to write, if it's a 1v1, him to fight an opponent that is somewhat equal to his strength in order to get a good fight. With this, even if he goes up against, the femme Broly, the female Broly, at the very least, okay, if he's getting his ass whipped, Goku can jump in and save his life, or, save him from getting completely wrecked. So it's going to be a little bit better on the creative side, where we don't have to have some BS or, just Krillin get completely obliterated in his first, fight, which in retrospect, maybe they should have thrown in Yamcha. This could have been his time to shine, but no, I think from a creative standpoint, it's going to be amazing. So let's start off with some of the rules that we found out, because there's quite a bit of different rules we found out for this tournament. For starters, to win, you have to knock your opponent off the stage. So in essence, the last person standing or the last team standing win. What do you think about them kind of bringing that back? Which in retrospect, I'm glad that we maybe didn't do that in the preliminaries, because it gave the preliminaries something to be a little bit different. But now that's going to be the major thing, like, we're old school wrestling. How do you feel about that? You think maybe that's a little bit too corny, or you think that's cool, something different? What do you feel?
No, I like, again, it's about strategy, and I like that, and especially taking away the no-fly zone kind of void, bringing it back, because if we look at the world tournaments in the past, we see, people like Videl, for example, where she got knocked off the ring and she was floating above the ground and then pushing herself back onto that ring. I like that because it gives a lot more threat level to it. You just can't go into the void and then fly back in. Like, that's not how it works. So we got that threat level right off the bat, which I really enjoy the most.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with the whole ring out thing, again, it goes back to, like, the old tournaments, and it kind of also restrains things a bit, because, like, for the big incredible fighters that, like, they have advantages by using the air, which, if I'm not mistaken, in the Universe 6 tournament, there was some things where they used the air to their advantage. They can't do that anymore, so it's going to be a little bit fair, but then at the same time, I hate to keep picking on Krillin, but, like, people like Krillin, he can't use that to his advantage and then run away and come back. But there's also going to be the play of teamwork, where if somebody's getting bodied, then their teammates can jump in and help them out. Although considering 70 other people are going to probably be gunning for them, Universe 7, I don't think they're going to have time to be doing too much tag team. They're more so going to have to cover their own asses.
I think the person that's got the most advantage in this situation would if Boo were to get knocked out and he can just use his, gum fruit to grab onto the ring and just, like, pick himself back up, because he obviously doesn't need to fly, he can just stretch himself back up there. So I feel like that wins a little bit in Boo's favour out of anyone, so I feel like he's gonna, I think Toei are really gonna play on that one for a bit, but or Goku's gonna hold on to the edge of the ring. I think that's gonna happen a few times, but it is definitely gonna be interesting, especially how they're gonna play this.
Yeah, another thing is, Weapons other than techniques may not be used, so we won't have at the very least any cheating involved, and seemingly from the opening, Frost is going to be in there, so the little cheating bastard has to play by the rules as well. No little poison needle bullshit, so that's going to be good. That even though in the preliminaries there was a little bit of BS already with like Gohan, they're not going to allow that in, and hopefully if the Omni King or, you know, the Grand Priest spot any bullshit, then they'll call it out because it's against the rules, clear cut.
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone on the Z team anyway uses weapons, to my knowledge anyway. So there's no Z sword for Gohan.
Another big thing is you can't kill your opponent. Now this is something that kind of has me a little bit like, wait a minute. So let me get this straight. The big risk of all this is the losing universes are having their universes destroyed. You know, flat out, they're getting bodied. So why would you care about the death of opponents in this tournament? You see, you follow what I'm saying? It's like, it makes no sense when they're already going to destroy universes upon universes. Why would you care about not killing the opponents? Normally that's used in traditional tournaments, so, you know, good things, people don't get hurt or whatever, people don't die. What is your take on all this? Because to me, it goes back to the whole thing of Goku and Zeno said this from the beginning. This is all just a ploy to get people to go full out, and ultimately Zeno's not planning on doing this at all. What is your take on that?
I honestly think from the very get-go, I've always said I think this is just a way to make fighters fight to their true ability of things. And the fact that in the latest episode of Dragon Ball, we had Zeno say that he would grant that exception that if Goku were to lose, that none of the universes would be erased. So that goes to tell me that, you know, they're not particularly bothered about it. They just want a good tournament. So I do think it's mainly, you know, a way of pushing them to their limits. But it is going to be interesting to see what some of the warriors bring to the table, because again, we don't know each of their abilities and what they can do. So maybe to some extent that some of them may be too powerful, or they have a certain technique where, you know, it will like poison, for example, just like how Gohan had his fight, that a poison could possibly kill, you know, some of the opponents in the ring. So it is, again, it is going to limitate a lot of the fighters, I do believe, that are going to be entering this tournament, which, again, I don't think it's fair, but at the same time it is. So I'm kind of on the fence with that one, to be honest with you.
You heard it here first. Lavender is officially nerfed.
Yeah, he's nerfed.
He can't go full out.
Damn. And I also want to question as well, if Boo were to turn everybody into candy, would that count as a death?
I think he can reverse it. So if he turned them into candy and the tournament ended, like he threw all the pieces of candy out and then turned them back, I think it would be okay. I think in order for...
Boo could solo it, man. You could solo this tournament.
Well, that's assuming that people won't catch on, because 70 other motherfuckers, they might look at him and say, whoa, Paul, what are you trying to do with this? And slaughter his big old fucking Majin Buu ass around. So, and mind you, also the whole candy thing, you know, there's been occasions where people have been able to outdo it. I think even one of the Boos, when Majin Buu had a fight back then, was able to counter it. So it's not like it's you know, unbeatable, so to speak. Another thing is, one of the rules we found out as well is the time limit. It's 48 minutes, which it translated to 100 something. We'll say it was 100 keks. But it's 48 minutes, which one of the things people have been pointing out is the fact that 30 minutes is the time limit for fusion, which in essence 100% makes me a little bit disappointed in the sense that Goten and Trunks ain't involved, because this would have been their time to shine. I mean, at the end of the day, regardless of what, Gotenks is 1,000 times more of a formidable opponent than people like Roshi, people like, you know, Krillin, even Tien to a certain degree, you know. Well, Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks I think is far superior to most of those people. So in essence, all they would have had to done is go 18 minutes without fusing, which if you think about it, that is quite a long time. But they could have gone 18 minutes and then fused, and for the remainder of time they would have had crazy incredible power and one of the strongest people that they have on their side. But also, this breathes forth something great where we could see a canon Gogeta as well. What do you think about the 48 minutes? I mean, obviously the 48 minutes is going to span probably over a dozen episodes. It's not going to be too long, but...
of course. It's going to be like old Dragon Ball Z destroying a planet in like 5 minutes, and turns out to be like 30 episodes.
Yeah. they're gonna do something crazy like that. Do you think that we could potentially see Gogeta? And also, how does this make you feel about the exclusion of Goten and Trunks, knowing that fusion would have been a great deal for this 48-minute tournament?
To be honest, I didn't really think about it too much. Like, yeah, Goten and Trunks, they would have been cool in this situation, but let's look at the people who know how to do the fusion technique. Unless, obviously, Goku teaches Vegeta within that time frame, or it gets shown off camera or whatever. But we know that Piccolo and Gohan and Goku know of it, or Krillin knows of it too. So I don't really see fusion being a thing, to be honest with you. Again, unless it gets shown off camera that Goku and Vegeta have taught each other in advance. But I'm probably thinking Android 17 and 18 are there. Now, I know it's not really canon, but they've used in GT, and maybe they could use that same concept again within this tournament.
Not to mention there was something in Dragon Ball Heroes, which Dragon Ball Heroes has kind of been somewhat of a precursor to things that we later see in Super, and vice versa. We've seen different cases, so you might be onto something. We might actually even see a fusion between the androids of some sort, although I'd imagine Krillin's gonna have some weird sleepless boners off of it. But nevertheless, we definitely could see something like that. I think because we also have to, keep in mind that Dragon Ball Super, one of the biggest things is merchandising, why it even exists to begin with, and a Gogeta appearance, even if it's just for, 5 minutes in an episode.
Well, here's the question then. Is the Potara earrings classed as a weapon?
I'd say so. I think that's outside interference in any way, so
right.
I think they wouldn't be able to use that, but the dance is totally fine, and the dance seemingly lasts longer now anyways, knowing that the Potara aren't limitless, they're not timeless anymore. There's a limit to them, especially if you're not a god. So I think if anything, we'll definitely see some sort of fusion within the 48 minutes. I think that's probably why we got that, so that we will see it. And again, merchandising wise and everything, even 5 minutes a Gogeta appearance would be,
it makes sense, yeah.
Incredible, and fly off the shelves, whatever they decide to do. And I mean, overall, as far as this tournament goes, I can't believe, honestly, that it turned into this, which it's going to be a lot shorter than I thought, because if it was just going to be 1v1s, this could have lasted until 2018, because we could have had, one fight per episode. It would have gone a long way. But the fact that they're doing this Royal Rumble means that they're going to run through this arc. They're going to run through this arc fairly quickly, honestly. Based on, one big match, they could probably stretch this out 12 episodes, maybe a little bit more, depending on if, this leads into something bigger, there's a big villain in all this. We could definitely get more, but honestly, the Universe Survival arc isn't going to be as long as a lot of us may have expected when we first came into all this.
So here's a question for you then. Who do you think out the Z Fighters is gonna go out first?
Okay, I think we're going to have a surprise where one of the strong ones is going to get knocked out. Not early on, but I think it's a safe bet that Goku's going to be the last one standing out of Universe 7.
Totally, yeah.
I'll be deadly shocked if it's not Goku. I think Gohan is going to be outmatched. I don't think he's going to be outwitted by anybody, because Gohan's whole play into all this is, he's a brainiac. So Gohan, he'll be outmatched, but not outwitted, I don't think. I think fairly early on, the Roshis...
I want Roshi to stay in for quite a while, man. I want to see him throw some hands, man.
I would love if the last three standing, even unfortunately if it means knocking out Vegeta, but if it's Goku, Krillin, and Roshi.
Oh, yes, please. That would be amazing.
That would be like right there, a Dragon Ball wet dream. No, but that would be amazing. Be a throwback, and also it'd be great. I mean, granted, they'd be seriously outmatched at that point, because you have one great fighter and two fairly weak guys, even though Krillin is the strongest human. But that's not saying much compared to some of these monsters they're going to be facing. And Tien might have some good stuff. Tien usually always comes clutch at the last moment. I don't see 17 having too much in this, because he still hasn't even been brought up. And granted, the episodes between the preliminaries and the Universe Survival, the real tournament, the Tournament of Power, might show a little bit with him, but I don't think he's gonna have too much in this tournament. He might have some cool moments though. And 18, she might go out defending her husband, or vice versa. That'll be something nice to play with.
That'd be really cool if actually 18 gets really fucked up and Krillin just goes on like a mad rampage. That'd be just insane. But then again, I see this tournament really as going that everyone has their eyes on Goku. They've set this up very well to the point of like, you know, Goku's the bad guy in all this, and everybody hates him and despises him. So let's get rid of him first. He's a big threat. So while everyone's concentrating on Goku, that's where the Z Warriors are going to be like, oh, okay, let's just take out the small fry that are at the back and get rid of them and minimize it. And then obviously Universe 7 are going to have the more members, and they're going to start using some really cool teamwork over the more stronger opponents. But I feel like Goku, for the majority of the whole battle, is going to be the tank in all this. He's going to be the one taking the damage and distracting the small fry while they get taken out by the rest of the gang.
Yeah, I definitely see early on Universe 9 getting knocked out. That's an early prediction because they already were showcased in the preliminaries, and since this is going to have 80 people going on at the same time, I'd imagine the Wolves are probably going to be the first team knocked out, if not maybe the second team, but I see them fairly early on leaving.
They're so out, yeah. They're so going.
Yeah, they're not going to have much of a stay. I think Universe 11, which is the clown Vermouth, I think they're going to last fairly late, and if the rumors are true that have been circulating that the female Broly is going to be running their flag, then I definitely see them lasting a while in there, because the interest right now is really high in Universe 11, and I think Toei and Shueisha and all them will like to play with that a bit, so we might see quite a bit of Universe 11 throughout this big Royal Rumble.
It's going to be great. It's going to be a ride, man. After watching that episode, I was like, I need so much more right now. So I'm really pumped for that.
All right, but that's all from us. I'm kind of curious what you guys think. First of all, what do you think about the new rules? How do you feel about the cannot kill your opponent, even though most of these people are supposed to die anyways? What do you think about the 48-minute time limit? Do you think that gives great room for some fusion to go on? Also, what do you think about, in general, this being one big Royal Rumble? How do you feel about that compared to what you thought it was going to be, 1v1s? And your overall expectations for the Tournament of Power. Is it more exciting to you now that it's a big Royal Rumble, or you're disappointed? I'm kind of curious for you guys' opinions and thoughts in the comment section. But that's all from us. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and stalk my Facebook to get more when the video ends. I'm ForneverWorld. This is James Hansen. And as always, people, have an awesome day.